Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Tuesday morning over here. A bit of a later Tuesday morning as I had a late night myself. It was quite nice, surrounded by good people, good times, but it's back in action this morning, and we actually have a lot to follow up on from especially yesterday's YouTube Shorts video, of which we're seeing that, basically come to fruition right now. Bitcoin trading above 20,000 bucks, so that is all well and good. Other than that, I wanted to, that's right, we have a sale going on. We have the 4th of July and Midsummer sale. Of course, I'm not going to go through the full rigmarole on this right now unless we have time later, but ultimately with the sale, I just want to make sure that you don't rush in any programs. Please watch the promotional videos that accompany any one of the programs that you might be considering, because they're going to explain who they're for, who they're not for, what to expect, so that you can actually understand if it's relevant to you or not, because it very well might not be. Anyways, let's just jump into it right now. I suspect that this one's going to be a little bit faster and streamlined here, and let's start it off with the short-term timeframes on CME. So yesterday's shorts video, we were looking for continuation to the upside above 20,000 bucks on the higher term timeframes, and now on the short-term timeframes, it is looking like Bitcoin is setting up for a bit of a short-term pullback. Short-term pullback, not the same thing as reversal. Reversal conditions, as we'll overlay soon enough, and I'll just spoil the surprise, is with a closure on a short-term timeframe below 19,600. Until that, it's just another higher low and continuation to the upside, as we're going to go over a little bit later, maybe perhaps more likely from a statistical standpoint. Anyways, in this case, 4-hour time frame, we are starting to put in hidden bearish divergence. The 4-hour RSI is making higher highs than what we saw on the 20th of June, where Bitcoin was trading at actually above 21,000 bucks. On top of that, we do see on the very short-term time frame stochastic momentum. Bitcoin on the buy hourly will turn down below 20,000 bucks. Now, these are very short-term time frames. This is like not super concerning, and the hourly is also going to be, I believe, down as long as Bitcoin's below 20,230. So, a bit of a short-term correction, completely fine. Again, as long as above about 19.6 on at least like a 2-hour, maybe a 4-hour, it's going to be, it's going to just be another higher low. On top of that, if we go back on over here and we put on our drawing tools, let's just see what the fib is going to be saying about this one. And yes, what do you know? The 618 coming in right around about 19,600. So that's why I do say below there, the probabilities of this one, just being a higher low is significantly reduced, let's say, but pullbacks down to, let's say, 19,930 or 19,750, completely fine. And again, just another higher low in the grand scheme of things. Other than that, also should probably outline this as well. Funding rates, slightly positive. Didn't really matter yesterday. Don't necessarily know if it's going to matter too much today as well. So the next thing that I want to talk about is related to the higher term timeframes. So the short term timeframes, again, completely different look than the higher term timeframes. My little seeds are like, the crusties are away. It's good. Fucking gross though, man. My hairs are falling out though, for real. Like, this is the scariest part of a hair transplant, is like your hairs literally just fall out afterwards. They tell you they're going to grow back in like a few months, but I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. Anyways, yes, the global open interest. So now we're talking about higher term timeframes. We do see a change of behavior here. So we've been looking at, or we haven't looked at the global open interest in a long time. Basically, ever since back on over here in like March, we said, hey, this is really fucking bearish, and probably is going to come all the way down to like 9 billion and maybe even 7 billion. We got down below 7 billion on that last major low in June, actually. And these levels of open interest are actually comparable exactly 1 year ago to July, where Bitcoin was putting in that low, basically in the low $30,000 territory. Now, the change of behavior here is that we're seeing our first higher low on the open interest, and potentially going to be seeing a higher high relatively soon as well, assuming that we do see just above like the 26th, 27th, whatever that number is right there. More importantly with that, we can start to couple that up with some more technicals, of which we can go back on over here, go onto a daily time frame, and follow up on basically the signals that we've been looking at over the past couple weeks now, slowly coming to fruition. But the timing of them, definitely not my strong suit, but that's why, I focus on price levels, not on timing aspects, although, there can be some interesting statistics alongside that. But price levels, I do find just a lot more verifiable and a lot more executable, more importantly. In this case right here, what do we have on the daily? We do have bullish divergence. 1, 2, 3 drafts coming off the lows. 1, 2, 3 lows right here. At least 2, maybe 3, depending upon how you count it. But even these ones typically do get some play. On top of that, we do see that the daily jewel is getting some upside curvature here as well, with the cyan now showing. And I would say this is like not the perfect, powerful signal that you want to see. You know, we'd want to see BBWP a little bit lower, but this is still fine. What I suspect that we get is we probably get something like that actually, where we get initial busting action to the upside. I've had no busting action. Else has been gone for like 4 days now. No busting action for me, maybe some busting action for Bitcoin, and then probably gets faded, then comes back down, base is a little bit lower, and then we get like the actual move, if you will. So when we go into that, in order to confirm bullish divergence, the conditions that we outlined in yesterday's video did get hit off. Those are more, expedited conditions, if you will. However, if you do want to play this one by the book, although, you know, I don't think that this is necessary in this case. I probably wouldn't do if I was actually trading in this way, which I do not. I don't trade the fucking daily. It's too high of a time frame. Can't sleep in position. But it would be either trading above the high of the prior, which would be in this case 20,790, so that would be Friday's high, or especially close and above, basically like 20,400 or so on CME. If and when that does happen, probably looking at a move somewhere around the 21 here, which is, guess where, $23,000. That's interesting. Keep that number in your mind, for fuck's sake. And let's go over here. And what do we see on the daily stochastic momentum? We see that it's also pointed up from that low level. So the criteria for that turning up was hit yesterday, will continue to remain to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above $19,000. Don't look at the volatility signature. It is a corrective signature after all, but we're just going to ignore that for right now. And and yes, you know, the interesting thing about this in particular is that anytime that we have seen the daily stochastic momentum oscillator get down to the green horizontal bar here that my cursor is currently on, there has been an average historical bounce of just under 31%. And the days until that next high were, you know, just over about 2 weeks. There's been 7 prior iterations, not including the 8th one that we're working on right here. And there is some good variance in these. So, you know, just because the average is 31% doesn't mean it's going to be exactly 31 fucking percent. But if we were to kind of take that from the current low, the daily range highs, which is that $23,000 number, is about 25%, which is comparable to that. If we were to see 30% or 31%, that puts Bitcoin at around $24,500 to $25,000. I think that is potential if things get really, really crazy. Maybe like a wick above, but just like back on over here in this saga in March of this year, you know, Bitcoin traded above the range highs, but you know, that was a bull trap, and not obviously at the time, but obviously in hindsight, which we started to confirm below $45,000 on this channel. That's when it was like, okay, there's no reason to be bullish for anytime soon. Just fucking get rid of your fucking green dildos, baby. It's over for a while at least. And in this case right here, you know, same thing. I think that we could definitely see something like that happen. I remain with my long-term view that I don't believe that we've seen Bitcoin's low. It might be like relatively close in terms of price. I still think best case scenario is somewhere like 17,000 bucks. For the reasons based off of the macro video that I released on Sunday, and I'll do another one this coming weekend, or I guess that's not that close, or yeah, last Sunday is still very much relevant. But ultimately, until then, you know, very short-term timeframes, can we see a bit of a pullback? Yeah, absolutely, no problem there. And then the higher-term timeframes, assuming no violation below 19,600, apologies, then I would be looking for continuation. You know, with those sort of areas of interest in mind. There's also going to be another one along the way, this little kind of stutter step that we saw in late June, which was 21.5. So you got 21.5, and then you got basically 23 to 23.5 region. So one before the next, obviously. And, you know, if statistics are anything to go off of in this case, the days until the next high, usually on average about 14 days from the initial cross. So in this case, that would be back and over here, and that would put us maybe around like mid to end of July, basically. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to start to sign off on this one. I think that we went over validations, invalidations, good. Went over targets alongside that, or we didn't really go over targets like what if Bitcoin fails below 19.6 basically on like a 4-hour closure. Probably looking at another run towards the current lows, probably even lower than that over time as well. Really good stuff. Other than that, I should probably, this is probably my good chance to shill Bybit yet again. They actually do have a pretty damn good promotion going on right now. If you use the link in the description below, it will make it so that you don't pay any maker fees, which means that you don't pay fees on limit orders that are not filled at market price, basically. Or not basically, but that is quite literally what it is, which is nice. And it goes for 30 days upon using the link, from what I understand. And the link will be like that way until end of July. So there you go. Yeah, I think that's it for this morning. I want to wish you well yet again. Take care, much love, and see you soon.